Good morning. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for being prompt and on time this morning. We're going to have a tight schedule, so this kind of movement in and out of rooms from here to the committee rooms to lunch and back it's going to be important that we operate that efficiently. I wanted to welcome you this morning to the 2023 Article 5 Simulated Convention of States. It's a truly historic endeavor. For those of you who were here last night, thank you for being here, for your attention, for listening to Patrick Henry, and for having him help us set the stage for what you're about to do. What you're about to do is unlike any other meeting. If you've never been to a simulated convention before, you haven't been through this experience, this will be unlike anything you've ever done before. This is not just a convention or a gathering or a social event or an educational event. You are making history during this event. I hope that you will keep that in mind. I expect that what we will see is what we saw at the 2016 simulated convention, which is we saw good people come into a room and rise to the level of great statesmen and stateswomen. America will be watching. People who support what we're doing out across the country, over 5 million folks who have signed up in support of calling a convention of states, will be watching. And people who oppose the process will be watching. The process itself, the convention itself, are entirely nonpartisan endeavors. This is not a policy discussion. This is a discussion about where the appropriate authority in the United States of America under our Constitution lies. Does it lie with the people and the states, or does the fundamental authority in the United States of America, the majority of authority, lie with the federal government? I think most of us who are in this room would agree with the answer that it lies with the people of the United States and their representatives in the states. The federal government was always intended to be a government of limited, enumerated powers. Today, the federal government is a government of unlimited, essentially unenumerated powers, largely the effect of an overreaching government for decades, over a century at least, and a Supreme Court that rubber stamps and encourages that encroachment on state authority and the sovereign authority of the people of these United States. So today you will enter into solemn and serious debate about amendments which might be proposed to be sent to the states for ratification in order that we might restrain that federal government and once again put it back within the bounds of the United States Constitution. I would like, just for a moment, just as an experiment, could you raise your hand if you were here at the simulated convention in 2016? I would appreciate that. Thank you for your participation in that event, and thanks for being here again, and hopefully some of you can help lead the way in committees and discussions among your colleagues. There are those out there on both sides of the aisle who oppose what we're doing. We know about the supporters, but there are opponents on both sides of the aisle too. They fear the idea of a runaway convention. We hear this from Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives. In responding to them, I would like to be direct, if perhaps a bit harsh. And in doing so, I will quote one of my favorite founding fathers, and that is Sam Adams. Sam Adams, in dealing with the people and talking about the people who opposed the fight for liberty, said this: "If you love wealth better than liberty, if you love the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, then go home from us in peace. We need neither your counsel nor your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands that feed you, and may posterity not remember that you were our countrymen." There's humor in that, but there's a very serious attitude in that. You are leaders in the fight for liberty in the United States of America, and that liberty is indeed being lost. And anytime we engage in a war, anytime we engage in a fight, we have to measure the risk in that fight. And you're here because you're serious people who have made that measurement within yourselves and made your own decisions about what the appropriate things are to do in this time of tribulation in our country. Winston Churchill said, "If you won't fight for right when you can easily win without bloodshed, if you won't fight when your victory is sure and not too costly, you may come to the moment when you'll have to fight with all the odds against you and only a precarious chance for survival. There may even be a worse case. You may have to fight when there is no hope for victory, because it's better to perish fighting than to live as slaves." To the men and women in this room, you have my eternal gratitude because you have chosen to fight when there is still, in my opinion, a very good chance for victory for the United States of America. It is time that we pursue that victory with all due vigor, and that is why we're here today.
It can be done. It will be effective.
So I think there are people who've never even heard of it that are going to see this and be impressed, and I think that builds enthusiasm.
This is the defining moment and the last opportunity to get our republic right.
We need a solution as big as the problem.